you guys, what's up? It's me, Katherine, and in today's video, I'm going to share my top tips for memorizing lines, monologues, scenes, audition material, callback material, all the good actory stuff. If you're new to my channel, I'm a working actress, I work for an equity theater company, I've cast projects, I'm a television student, born and raised in Los Angeles, so I am very much ingrained in the industry. I've had to memorize a lot of stuff in my short time here on the planet, so I thought I'd share my top tips for how I get it all done. Believe it or not, this is actually probably the most highly asked question by you guys on Snapchat, Twitter, and Instagram. You can follow me at Kath_Steele for more fun stuff. So, I thought today we'd finally make a whole video about it. If you're new to my channel and you're like, what's going on? Hi, my name's Katherine Steele and I put out a new theater-related video on every Theater Thursday, plus I do bonus uploads throughout the week. Why did I gasp like that? Like I'm in a magic show or something? Like I was saying, I put out new theater-related videos on every Theater Thursday, plus I do bonus uploads throughout the week. So if you haven't already and you'd like to, go ahead and hit subscribe. That way you get notified for all future videos and you get to join the Theater Thursday fam. First, we take over Broadway, and then the world, and then the world. That was weird. Like I mentioned earlier, you can follow me at Kath_Steele on all of the social thingies. So let's get into the video. So my number one tip for actors who are trying to memorize something is to understand how they learn. I don't know if you guys did this, but in elementary school and middle school and stuff, we would always take these quizzes that would kind of determine our learning style. You can be auditory, visual, kinesthetic. I want to say, I might be pronouncing that wrong. Basically, there's a bunch of different ways that people learn, and there are certain ways that different people learn best. So if you don't know which learning method is best for you, I would 10 out of 10 recommend finding that out. You can just Google learning methods and I'm sure you can find like a similar quiz. But once you understand how you learn, you can custom tailor your studying process. Because let's be real, most of the time when you have to memorize something for like an audition or a callback, you don't really have that much time to learn it. Personally, I am not an auditory learner. I am garbage at auditory learning, but I am a visual learner and I'm a kinesthetic learner. Visual means that I have to see things to learn them, so I spend a lot of time reading and highlighting my scripts. If you want to get ideas on how to organize, tab, and highlight your scripts, I did a whole video on that, so I will link that in the down bar below. I'm kinesthetic, which means that touch and motion and stuff like that really helps me out, so I always match blocking to my lines. The biggest thing that probably helps me learn lines is running them every single night. When I'm in a show, I run my lines every single night. Instead of doing those last 10 minutes on Instagram or whatever you do right before you go to bed, pull out your script and run through all of your material. Then, once you're actually in bed trying to fall asleep, run through all of your lines until you do fall asleep. I'm just now realizing that this is why for like half of 2013, I just had reoccurring nightmares about the Salem witch trials. I saw Goody Proctor with the devil! That kind of repetition really helps me out. Like I mentioned, I'm not an auditory learner, but if you are, then it can be really helpful to say all of your lines out loud on like a voice memo app on your phone and listen back to the lines. Mnemonic devices are super helpful. Basically, the idea is that you kind of come up with a game or a saying or a phrase or a pattern and you remember that, and that helps you remember something else. For example, let's say you're in a play and your character is baking a cake, and you have to remember that the recipe calls for 1 pound of sugar, 2 eggs, 3 cups of flour, 4 cups of milk. That recipe isn't a real recipe. Instead of trying to remember each ingredient individually in this kind of long run-on sentence format, just remember 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 pound of sugar, 2 eggs, 3 cups of flour, 4 cups of milk. Of course, most of the time lines aren't that simplistic, but it's all about finding a pattern within it. Another thing that I like to do is a thing that I kind of nicknamed the logic approach. Trademark! Just kidding, that's not how trademarks work. Here's the idea. You kind of understand the order of the scene and what would next logically happen in that conversation. This can be really helpful if you have a really long scene that covers a lot of time topics, so kind of mentally mapping out the conversation in your mind can definitely help you remember the order of events. Same thing goes for the feeling of the scene. Memorize your lines with feeling. If you understand the emotional motivation behind your character and like what makes them happy in the scene, what suddenly makes them mad, those emotional cues can be an indication of the lines that are being said. So there you guys go. Those are my top tips for memorizing lines super fast. If this video helped you out in any way, please give it a big thumbs up. Like I said, I put out a new theater related video on every Theater Thursday. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. I love you guys so much. Break a leg, and I will see you guys next time. Bye! Manchester, England, England, across the Atlantic Sea. And I'm a genius, genius. I believe in God. And I believe that Claude believes in God. That's me. Oh, wait, no, I'm Claude. I'm not God.